Absolutely, sir. Thank you so much for that. Now, GDP growth is often presented as fact. You know, it's a big scorecard for our economy. But I want to know, you know, as a young person, who decides what goes into these calculations and who decides these metrics, and how can everyday Nigerians trust them as reliable numbers if we're not seeing it reflecting in our daily lives?
No. When you say it's not reflecting daily life, I don't fully agree with that. The situation today is not as bad as it was last year. So it is not good. I don't agree with that generalization that it's not reflecting in our daily lives. If people who are in business are recording more activities, more business activities now than what it was last year, I mean, it's reflecting somewhat. What I think what we need to do a lot more of is to address and target the basic things of life, which is what a lot of citizens are complaining about. And this will require some targeted specific policies across all our policy levers. I'm talking of things like food, transportation, things like pharmaceuticals, cooking gas, and all of that. Of course, there can be specific policies to target those things, because what we are discussing generally is more at a macro level. But when it comes to basic things of life, a lot more needs to be done, both by the federal government, the state governments, and the local government. Because we also need to be conscious of the fact that all these levels of government need to bring something to the table as far as these things are concerned.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that these things are gradual. And in terms of the sectors, I've told you, the National Bureau of Statistics have 46 sectors, which covers practically all sectors of the economy. And when we did the rebasing, I mean, there was some adjustment as to which sectors are more critical, which new sectors have come in and so on. Like the entertainment and creative sector, those sectors have come up.
Of course. Mr. Muda.
Than what they were before.
Yeah. I love how passionate you are about this. We'll come to you shortly. Let's just go on this quick commercial break and we'll be back shortly. You're still watching TVC Breakfast. We're talking about the GDP and we still have Mr. Muda right here with us.
Right. Dr. Yusuf, it's good that we're celebrating. You're actually urging us to celebrate our little gains, regardless of circumstances that we find ourselves. But so now that we're expanding to 4.23% and the nominal rising above, the nominal size actually rising above 100 trillion naira. So government officials are already telling us that, we'll still have more to borrow. So with the over 411% increase in the GDP, or revenue generation rather, the FRS boss, Zacchaeus Adedeji, making us understand that the government will still, borrow to, implement some projects, to do other things. So making justifications for it. So the challenge for me there is, how realistic do you consider, is the link stronger for GDP numbers to debt sustainability? Do you think this growth can actually mask the risk of piling up new loans, so much so that we might find it difficult to pay?
Mr. Muda, can you hear us?
Dr. Yusuf, can you unmute?
No. I can hear you.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Carry on.
There's a correlation between the performance of the economy and the revenue that you generate. If you look at the numbers, you will see that there's an improvement in government revenue, both in nominal terms and also in real terms. But I admit that by the time you discount all those revenues for inflation, exchange rate depreciation, they may not be as high as they look. But there's an improvement. And that improvement is a reflection of the fact that economic activities are also improving, because you generate your revenue from economic activities. So there is a positive correlation there. Now, annually, you have a spending plan. You have a revenue plan. You have a plan of how you are going to finance your budget. And traditionally, and this happens across the world, you have sources funding sources that will come from your revenue. You have your sources that will come from borrowing. That is set out right from the beginning, even right from the medium-term expenditure framework. These things are spelled out. The fact that you borrow to finance some project does not mean that you have serious challenges with your economy. even the largest economy generally, the largest economy globally, they are also in debt. I mean, look at the US economy. They are talking of trillions of dollars in debt. The same thing with all the leading economies, China, Japan, Germany, all of them. You know, so what is important as far as this debt issue is concerned is the sustainability of the debt. I mean, check out any company. There's no company, even private sector, there's no company that doesn't borrow. Because if you want to grow, you have to finance your business beyond what your immediate cash flow is.
Sorry, Doctor, do you think it's right to compare ourselves with US? You know, US style of borrowing, because they print the dollar. The dollar belongs to them.
No. That is not the issue. The issue is about fiscal operations of a government. The principle of fiscal operations allow for borrowing. Apart from the West, Africa, look at any economy. The point I'm making is that if countries that are that wealthy are borrowing, talk less of somebody that is still coming up. What is important in all of this is that you borrow sustainably. You don't borrow in a way that will strangulate you. You don't borrow in a way that will make it difficult for you to do other things. You don't borrow in a way that your debt service will be consuming a lot of your revenue.
That's right.
That is what debt sustainability is all about. You look at the cost of the debt, you look at your capacity to repay, and all of that. You look at your cash flow. That is what I was saying. And that I was even telling you that even as a business person, go to any company, even the biggest company that you have, they also borrow to expand the business.
Exactly.
If you want to grow as a business,
But
there's no way